how do we change the anger? In which case do we change it? Then there are many afflictive emotions. Anger is one of the afflictive emotions, and the others could be conceit. You know conceit? When you're full of yourself and you're thinking you're so much better than others. Yeah? And then it can lead to arrogance. So you're inflating your ego, and you become very... Conceit is to think, I am responsible for all these good things happening. I'm the best, you know. But different from pride. It's very negative. And then arrogance, believing that you're superior to others. And then jealousy, whenever they have something good and you don't, so you become jealous. Desire, close-mindedness, very narrow, and thinking this is the way it is, and there's nothing else apart from my world. So we have various delusions, afflictive emotions that we talk about. Normally we're not talking so much about these, about the jealousy and about the close-mindedness, but these are also afflictive emotions. So when you think about hatred, when you think about desire, you know, the afflictive emotions that we generally talk about, hatred and anger are considered to be the worst. Why? They're the worst. Because they're the greatest obstacle to developing compassion and altruism. So when you're trying to develop the compassionate mind, the giving mind, then anger and hatred is the opposite. It stops you from developing your compassion and your altruism. So you may say, I want to be compassionate, I want to be altruistic, I want to help others, to give to others, but actually you're applying the antidote when you're angry and you have hatred. It's the antidote. You're pulling back from the positive. Okay? So then there are two types of anger. One type of anger could be positive, where it's motivated by compassion, and that anger can be used as an energy to bring about positive action. So I gave the example yesterday where you're really concerned about the environment, and so you get angry about it, but then it's about others, benefiting others and wanting to do something about the environment for others. But we have to be very careful when we're what we would call positively angry, because then we can feel powerful. And then that powerful feeling can blind us to destructive behavior. We may not be able to see our destructive behavior when we're feeling angry, powerful. I must do something about the environment. Still, the anger is going to create some confusion. So be careful. It's saying that anger can be an energy, a force for change. But you want to remove the confusion that the anger creates. Okay? So start with the anger, but then change it into just an energy. Don't stick with the anger. So even though anger can be used in a positive way, generally anger leads to ill feeling and hatred. So generally, we're not saying in every case, anger usually leads to ill will, ill feeling, and hatred. So this is another good reason to give it up. It's like saying, if you smoke, then the consequence can be. Right? You're linking causes and effects. And if you say, well, okay, I accept that, that's up to you. You still want to smoke in the face of what you know? Okay. You still want to be angry in the face of what you know? Okay. This is your decision. Nobody's going to say you're a bad person. But do you feel that you're a bad person when you're angry? And this is what's so harmful about anger, is when you've been angry and then afterwards you think, I'm a bad person. I don't like myself. This is extremely destructive and usually produces more anger. I don't like myself, and then more anger. Okay? So that also that feeling of guilt rather than regret. Remember, we've talked before about the difference between guilt and regret. So regret is, I now understand this is a negative action and I want to change it. Whereas guilt says, I'm a bad person, I've done bad things, and it stops. There's nothing to be done. It's like I've created a sin and there's nothing to be done. I have to look to somebody else to remove the sin. But in this case, when we're talking about regret, with wisdom we understand the action is negative, based on negative way of thinking, and it can be changed. So, when anger is leading to hatred, hatred is always not unbeneficial. Hatred is always harmful. There's no benefit to hatred. So even though anger can be converted, other things can be converted, but hatred cannot be converted into something positive. Hatred is always negative.